and welcome back to my channel. This is going to be another Q&A, so this is kind of continuing off of the previous one. I was thinking about possibly just making a straight up competing video to try to answer all of your competition questions, because that was kind of a lot of them. I haven't totally figured it out, but I'm going to try to answer as many as I can today, and if you guys have any other questions, comment them down below, and I think that's it. Like the last video, I'm just going to kind of start from the bottom and just go from there. Did you have any other jobs before you were a waitress? Yeah, so I actually started out, like my first few jobs were in a restaurant as well, but I was a dishwasher, I was a hostess, I was a cook actually. I was literally a chef cook at a diner when I was out of college. So did that, went to a job at Estee Lauder. I was a chemist there, and I actually really loved that job, but it was a temp position, so then once that ended, like that was it. And from there I was in the restaurants as a waitress. So yeah, I've had a few different jobs. I bounced around. I was also like a retail shoe store worker, so I've had many different jobs. What does being a balanced athletica athlete involve? What are your responsibilities? So balance doesn't really put a lot of requirements on us, which is why I really was drawn to the company. Something I've always been a little hesitant to is being a robot for a company. So any companies that kind of have post requirements or make you seem super salesy, it's not really something I want to be a part of. I want to kind of do it as organically as possible. I want to promote it when I'm wearing it. I don't want to feel the pressure of having to post or having to push product. So same as First Form, was like they don't have post requirements for us either. Balance is really laid back. Like they just want you to love the product and promote the product kind of at your own leisure and whatever works for you. So honestly, there aren't really any requirements. I just can't like promote other clothing brands, so that's kind of like the only requirement or responsibility. But other than that, like I just have to be posting when I'm wearing it and living life. Do you still think you can do cardio and gain muscle? So this kind of depends on how much cardio you're doing. I don't think that cardio is going to completely deter you from putting on muscle, but if you're doing a ton of cardio where it is putting you in a deficit and like kind of draining your body of calories, energy, and all of that, I would say it probably will hinder it. But if you're just throwing in some cardio to stay active, I don't think that that would hinder any type of muscle gain. What is the hardest part of competing? I would say the diet, I guess, and it's not even just like the diet, it's kind of the missing out on activities and like social events, or going and not being able to like fully participate. I think that's just the hardest part, is kind of feeling like you're missing out. But like the goal of it all is still more important and bigger to me than like these social events that I may miss out on or may not have like full fun at because I can't fully participate. But I would say that's probably like the hardest part. That's kind of the times where I'm like, damn, like I really wish I wasn't on prep. So I would say that just the diet and then like kind of missing out on things is probably the hardest part. How many days out of the week do you do cardio and how long? So questions like these are really not helpful for people, because what I do is not helpful to you, and everyone's gonna be different. Everyone's body requires different things. So right now I'm doing like 3 sessions a week maximum at like 15 minutes. And one of those is probably going to be like F45 that I would count as cardio. So like I'm really not doing much at all. And then prep is a different story, and prep cardio changes weekly basically. So I can't even give you like a set cardio amount that I do. It really is so different every week, I feel like, and right now it's like extremely minimal. What does being a brand athlete entail? So I kind of touched on this, but this is going to be totally different for every brand. Every brand has their own requirements or their own responsibilities that the athletes have, and some give their athletes salaries, some don't. Commissions vary. It's very, very different company to company, so there isn't like a brand athlete kind of like job position that just fills every brand's requirements. It's very, very different. So for me, I kind of went over what the brands that I work with, what it entails, which is not much on the requirement side. And then again, the salary thing depends on different companies. I personally do not get a salary from any of the companies that I work with. I just strictly make commission, and commission percentages are going to depend on the company as well. So it's totally different. It depends on what brand you're looking into. There's no like specific answer of like what a brand athlete entails. And then the next one, advice on how to get sponsored by a supplement company. So for this, and this goes for like any company or anything that you are trying to kind of get a part of, my big advice is to buy the products, pay for the products, buy them, use them, make sure that you actually really like them, and organically post about them. If you like them and you're using them in your daily life, you should be posting about them, sharing it with others. And once you've kind of bought the products, invested into the company already, and then kind of post about it a few times or whatever, then I would recommend reaching out to the company. Chances are the company is not going to reach out to you. So every company that I've worked with has not reached out to me. I've reached out to them to become affiliated with the company. So really it's very, very rare for a company to reach out to you. So you should be buying the products, investing in the company, showing that you're interested, and then apply. Because if you're reaching out and applying when you've never used the products, never bought the products, never posted anything about them, like it depends on the brand, but they might just take you right away, or they might be like this person's never used our stuff, never bought from us, like why does she want to be a part of the company if she's not aware of the product? So my advice, that long-winded answer, but my advice is buy the products, invest in the company, show your support, post about it, and then reach out. And I'm sure if you've shown support and interest in the company that they will pursue you. Current split, so I don't have one. I really don't have like a set specific split that I follow to the book. I really just go based on feel. I just make sure to hit every muscle group, 2 leg days for sure, back, and then I usually do like shoulders and then like arms and chest or something because I really don't train chest that much. But again, like I'll switch it up. Sometimes I'll do back and bi, sometimes I'll do push. I'm really not very strict with it. I really go based on feel. Like if I'm sore, I won't train what I'm supposed to train that day or like what's next in rotation. I'll kind of just switch it up. So I really don't have a split. I just make sure that I hit every muscle group each week and I do 2 leg days or 2 lower body days a week. How do you deal with mentally accepting gaining fat while in a surplus? So this is like really hard for me to explain because it's just something that you have to do and it's something that you just have to kind of suck up. So I suck at answering these questions because I just deal with it. Yes, I have bad body image days, like I always do, honestly, on prep, off prep, gaining weight, losing weight. I always have bad body image, like I think everyone does, and that's just like part of being a human being. But the thing that helps me when I'm gaining weight or in a surplus and my goals and my physique are kind of shifting to go from being the smallest I can be and like losing fat, I really like to focus on my strength and my performance in the gym because that does tend to kind of decline when you're in prep or losing weight. Like your strength isn't as good and your performance just isn't as good either because you're usually kind of hungry or you're tired and energy is just not there. So I try to shift the focus from physical appearance and kind of just like being as shredded as possible to being strong, healthy, and feeling good and performing better and also just like enjoying life a little more. So if you're gaining weight or in a surplus, I'm guessing you have more freedom because you have more calories to play with. So that kind of gives you the ability to like enjoy yourself more, like go out, not have to like pass up on going out to dinner with friends and stuff like that. So like there's different benefits for different seasons and you kind of just have to shift your mental focus to the positives of the phase that you're in. So that kind of helps me. But other than that, it's just like, it is what it is and it's a part of life and you just gotta do it. Number 1, favorite exercise for each muscle group you train. This is like really, really hard. Shoulders, probably lateral raise. Chest, cable flies. Biceps is like curls. I like hammer curls. Triceps, probably cable push downs. Back, probably bent over rows with dumbbells. Legs / glutes, I think I would have to say probably RDLs and sumo deadlifts. And I do like hip thrusts too, but I don't like enjoy them. They're just good. That's why I like them. They suck. But I think I actually enjoy sumo deadlifts and I enjoy RDLs. And I think that's kind of, is that it? I think that's it. I think that's every muscle group, but yeah. Favorite meal right now? Hands down, Chipotle. My Chipotle bowl is literally my favorite meal. I could eat it every single day. White rice, double chicken, cheese, lettuce, corn, a side of sour cream because I just really lightly dip my fork in it and like barely use any. And then I also get a tortilla on the side and make a little mini burrito. It is my favorite meal of all time right now. Since moving, what is the thing you want to do the most in Colorado? I think just going out and adventuring more. So like actually going on hikes, actually taking advantage of the nature around me. Anthony and I did not take advantage of living in California like at all. We really didn't do any hikes. We didn't go to the beaches. So I definitely want to like actually soak it all in with the nature around us. There's so much to do. So I think that's kind of what I want to definitely prioritize while we live here. Do you like routine or are you more go with the flow? I think when it comes to work, I'm very routine. Like I have to-do lists for every day. I have to-do lists for the week. I have them for the month. Like I am super, super organized and like very structured in my work. But when it comes to like making plans and doing things, I'm very go with the flow. But work, I'm definitely very routine. Do you think more Instagram famous women in the fitness area use PEDs than people notice? So this is really hard because I personally think that it's less common than you think, but maybe I'm naive about it, but like, I'm natural. I've always been natural, and I just feel like people really underestimate the power of hard work and determination and sticking to a freaking goal and getting the physique that you want. I think that whenever someone looks at somebody with an insane physique, they automatically think drugs or they think PEDs. A lot of people just point the finger immediately like, that's PEDs, that girl's on drugs. And I just feel like, to be honest, I don't think it's as common as people think. I feel like it gets thrown around a lot more and accusations get thrown around a lot more than deserved or than are actually accurate. And again, maybe I'm naive about it, but I personally know so many women who are natural and have achieved insane physiques, and a lot of people look at them and assume that they're on drugs when they're not. So that's kind of how I look at it, is like I actually think that less people use them than assumed, but that's just me and I could be wrong. So I don't know. Foods that help with bloating / foods that cause bloating. So bloating is something that is super, super personal and it depends on each person. Broccoli bloats some people, it doesn't bloat me. Some people can't have protein powder because it bloats them, like it doesn't really bother me. It kind of is similar to allergies. Like there's no like universal allergy and there's no like universal thing that bloats people. So I don't really know. This is like a very individualized question, so I don't really have an answer for it. I actually don't really have foods that bloat me that I've noticed. Like it's more of like if I don't drink water or if I'm traveling or if I don't get sleep, that's when I get bloated. I don't tend to notice like certain foods. How tall are you? I'm 5'2". How to go up to your gym crush when you're shy? You are asking the wrong girl. First of all, I've only had 2 boyfriends in my life and they were both long-term, one being Anthony. I am like the furthest thing from a flirt. I do not know how to act in those situations and I am very shy myself, so girl, I have no idea. If anyone knows, comment down below how you would go up to your gym crush, because I don't know. So give this girl some tips and comment down below. How to get a brand to sponsor you. So this went along with what I said before. My biggest thing is show interest in the brand, like buy the products. I don't know where people get the idea of like, they've never used the product, they've never bought from the company, never spent like their own money on a product, yet they'll like reach out to a company and expect to be affiliated. If you're not willing to even spend your own money, why would a company want to work with you? It looks bad, it looks like you have ulterior motives and that you're just trying to get free stuff, in my opinion. So like I mentioned, buy the stuff, promote the stuff, support the brand, and then reach out and give it a try. How annoying is it when people ask you how to track pancakes, drinks, etc.? It's really hard for me to say because I do not want to sound like ungrateful for having a platform, but it really does blow my mind the amount of people who don't like do their own research or like look something up in MyFitnessPal or Google something. Like you can literally go to MyFitnessPal and put the ingredients in yourself. You can so easily find that yourself. Of course, I'm here to help. It's like what I'm here for. But when I post a Starbucks drink and I get 15 DMs, like, what's the macros on that? How did you track that? It becomes a lot. If you are able to search your own things, do it. Also, you may never get a response from this person, or you may have to wait hours to get a response from this person. So why don't you just do the research yourself and get an answer within 5 minutes? That's how I look at it. If I'm gonna comment something that I could just Google it's gonna take me a lot more time to figure out the answer waiting for them to respond than if I was to just go look myself. So that's kind of how I look at it. So yeah, I don't want to sound like a dick. Do you feel like you found the perfect balance during your off season? Yes, I do. I mentioned this in my last Q&A, but yes, I really feel so good right now in my off season, and feels good to have this balance. How much water do you drink? I drink a gallon to a gallon and a half a day. Do you find it awkward or uncomfortable vlogging in a new city? Girl, I always feel awkward and uncomfortable. I didn't feel comfortable in California. I didn't feel comfortable in New York. I never feel comfortable vlogging in public because it's just awkward and people look at you. So yeah, it's always awkward and uncomfortable for me. I need to really like get over it and just deal with it. Do you think it's worth it to get a coach even if you're not trying to prep for a competition? So this is kind of like a personal thing. If you are driven enough and you have enough knowledge or can do the research on your own and have the accountability to do it yourself, go for it. Feel free. I think it's totally doable. But a lot of people don't have the accountability or I'm one of those people. Like, if I didn't have a coach during my off season, I probably would be a lot more lenient. But knowing I have check-ins every week, like, it really helps to keep me on track. So if you are someone who needs to be held accountable, or you kind of find excuses a lot that you can kind of talk yourself out of things or into doing things, I would recommend having a coach. If you are like serious about your goals and you do really want to make changes, you don't need one by any means, but I do think it helps with accountability. That's probably the most important part. Blueberry or strawberry Pop-Tart? I say blueberry. Best method for bikini hair removal, laser, wax, sugar, shave. So I only shave. I've never actually gotten wax before. I should probably try it, but shaving works for me. So it's kind of all I do. Or I should try laser, that would be cool too. But it is a pain in the ass, but I don't know, I just stick to shaving. Biggest life lesson you've learned and how you learned it. So I can't think of a specific time of like when I learned it, but my biggest lesson I've learned is to live for yourself and don't let the fear of judgment hold you back type of thing. And for me, this kind of came down to like, I guess social media taught me this lesson, and it was like, I was scared to start posting my fitness journey on Instagram. I was scared to start posting YouTube videos. I was scared to share that I was doing a competition. I was scared to share that I was a coach online. Like, I was always scared at first to put myself out there because I was scared of the fear of others and just judgment from people. And then I realized I would be nowhere I am right now if I let that hold me back. And it's something that has taken a little while for me to fully understand and fully embrace. And I still have moments where like I get nervous and something will get to me and I'll kind of almost let judgment hold me back. But this is my life. If I have aspirations and things that I want to get done in this life, like, I'm not going to let someone's opinion or judgment hold me back. I just think and look back, like, if I let that stop me so many times, I would literally still be waitressing and miserable and probably living in New York, and you know what I mean? Like, I would have never done anything that scared me. And so I guess my biggest lesson is don't worry about judgment of others. Don't let fear of opinions of others hold you back. Do what you want to do because it is your life. I know it's hard, but do what scares you and don't worry about what other people think. Do you plan on releasing tanks/summer merch? Yeah, I do. I mentioned this in like one of my day in the life videos. I just have a hard time finding more of like lifestyle tanks or lifestyle like summer wear because I don't want it to be too active wear or like too workouty, because I don't want this to be like a total fitness brand. I want it to be more lifestyle. So it's kind of hard to find like the perfect pieces for summer for lifestyle. Still working on it, but yes. How often do you train abs in the off season? Maybe once a month. I'm so bad. I need to do it more, but I do a lot of compound movements, so I know my core is being worked, but I don't like specifically target abs like ever, which is bad. Why don't you get sick of the same food every day? So I don't get sick of the same food because I eat the foods I enjoy. I'm not like forced to eat anything. My coach doesn't make me eat things. I'm not on a meal plan, so I have the ability to pick the foods that I love to eat, so I don't get sick of them. And if I do get sick of them, I will switch it up. I don't get sick of the food that I eat because I enjoy it. How do you deal with creepers at the gym or in public? I just ignore them. I try not to look at them or make eye contact, and try to, without being a bitch, act as kind of uninterested as possible, and not like in a mean way, but just I'm just like not interested. So that's, I guess, my goal is try not to look at them, but if they do look at you and if they start to bother you, just try to put off a like I'm good, I'm not interested type of vibe. Do you take creatine? No, I don't, and I don't really have a reason why I don't, I just don't. If it's in my pre-workout, that's kind of the only time I have it, but for the most part, I don't prioritize taking it, and I really don't have a reason for that, I just don't. Do you have calluses on your hands from lifting, and if so, do you do anything for them or no? So I actually don't have like too bad of calluses. I have like really small ones, and no, I don't do anything for them. I really don't care too much about them. It's just like the bottom of your hands. I feel like it doesn't like take away from anything, so I don't really worry about them. How long have you been a bikini competitor? I've competed for 2 seasons. I've done 5 shows. What's your biggest fear? My biggest fear is regret. Looking back and regretting not doing something is like literally my biggest fear. Can you imagine being 60 years old and looking back at your life and like regretting not doing something when you were 20 or 30? Like that's what drives me all the time, is I never want to look back and think I wish I did that or I wish I did this and have regret. That's my biggest fear. Are you planning on going to Red Rocks to see music? If so, who? Yeah, I definitely am, but I don't have any tickets yet and I don't have any set people, but Billie Eilish is coming and I really want to see her, so she's probably the main person that I can think of right now, and tickets are really expensive, so yeah. Favorite month of the year, my coach asked. I don't know. I don't think I have one. Maybe August, just because it's my birthday month, or like April or May, because it's just like that nice, not too hot summer yet. Oh, but I also really like September and October, because then it's the same thing. It's like going to like a little bit cooler weather. I don't know, Paul. I like all months. How do you know how much and what type of cardio to do when dieting? So this, again, is a very individual thing. I can't tell you this is the amount and this is how much, this is the magic solution. If you don't have a coach to kind of help you out with this, it's going to be a lot of like trial and error. You know, do a certain amount and see how your body responds. If you lose weight pretty quickly, I would pull it back. If you're not losing weight or gaining weight or whatever, maybe you start to add a little more in. And it's just a lot of trial and error and figuring out what works for you and your body, because everybody's different. So I can't really give you a set number. What program do you use to edit your YouTube videos? I just use iMovie. It's so easy, so quick. I don't do anything complicated, so it does the job, and I'm very quick with it now, so I love iMovie. Do you ever give macro counting a break and eat intuitively? So yes and no. Like when we were moving, there were definitely days where I didn't track anything and I was kind of just eating intuitively, and I feel like I've tracked for so long that I kind of can eyeball and estimate and just do the math in my head type of thing. And there are also days where sometimes I'll leave macros on the table and I will eat something but not track it, but no, I left enough on the table for it. So I'm definitely a little bit more relaxed in the off season. My body was responding really, really well. So I kind of am a little bit more lenient, but still obviously, you know, doing the best I can. I know your mom competed, so she's into fitness, but what about the rest of your family? No, no one in my family is into fitness. Do you keep track of sugar intake when tracking? No, I don't, honestly. And my FitnessPal has, I think, like 54 grams as my daily limit, and I rarely go over it. I don't know if I really ever go over that. So I really don't worry about it at all. I don't think it's something you need to worry about unless you're eating like 300 grams of sugar or something. But sugar is not the devil. Sugar is not the enemy. I don't worry about sugar and I don't keep track of it at all. How do you stay motivated during off season? So it's definitely harder to kind of want to go to the gym when you're not. Losing weight and losing fat is such an addicting thing. Like when you're doing it, it's the most motivating thing ever and it just drives you to keep going. So when you're not doing that, it is kind of hard to stay motivated. But for me, I know that this is the time to actually change my physique. Changes are made in the off season. So if you want to grow, if you want to change your physique in any way, like you need to put in the work during your off season. You need to remember that this is just as, if not more important than dieting and prepping, because this is where your body is actually built. So I know it's not as fun to train in off season and all that, but just remember that this is where you're actually building your physique and changing your physique, and it's very freaking important to take it seriously, or else you're gonna step on stage with the exact same physique that you had the previous season, and no one wants to do that. Do your carbs go super low near the end of prep? I know everyone is different though. So mine never got like ridiculously low. I want to say the lowest I got was 80 grams, and that was for like a day or two. So no, mine never got crazy low. What is with the Body by Oats? So it's literally not even a thing. Like, it's not anything special. I think a lot of people get confused by it. Basically, I eat oatmeal every day. So I make a joke that my body is like made by oatmeal because I eat it all the time, and like I'm saying, like my body is made of oatmeal. I make my oatmeal with egg whites, so it's like kind of, I guess, Body by Oats turned into like the way I eat my oatmeal, but like it all stemmed down from I eat a lot of oatmeal and my body is made up of oatmeal. Like Body by Oats, my body's made up of oatmeal. That's literally just what it meant. And then yeah, so other people who like oatmeal, hashtag it, they, you know, it's just kind of a thing. But it's not really a thing. Where do you buy your competition bikini and heels? I buy my suits from Toxic Angels Bikinis, and my heels and jewelry are from the Shoe Fairy. Do you see yourself doing anything else in your career besides fitness? I don't know, not really at the moment. If anything, maybe like something in the clothing or like fashion world, but other than that, like fitness and fashion are kind of like my only interests or main interest. So as of right now, I really don't see myself doing anything differently, but who knows? Anything can change at any point. At what time do you go to bed? I try to go to bed at like 9 o'clock. I know. So I would say honestly between 9 and 10. How did you start to work for yourself? Was it scary, hard, and what made you do it? So I talked about this in the last one. I just kind of started doing both at the same time, and once what I was doing on the side became enough to pay for my bills, I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna do it. And it's definitely scary, and it still is scary because anything can happen, anything can change in a day. And the money that I make is never guaranteed. So it is scary, but it's worth it, and I have the freedom now, and I wanted to be able to make my own rules and do my own thing and not have a boss or someone telling me what to do or building someone else's dream. I wanted to build my own dream, so that's why I wanted to do it. And yeah, it was scary and hard when I was doing both, but like it's still hard now, but at least I enjoy what I'm doing, so it's not bad. Are booty bands a necessity for growing glutes? No, I don't think anything is a necessity, but I really love bands for glute activation, and it adds such a burn. Do you guys use CBD oils? How has your experience been with them, if so? So we've used CBD like a few times, but I feel like I don't notice too much of a difference. It helps me with sleep, but other than that, I can't really tell if it helps me with anxiety or stress, but I haven't really used them enough, I feel like, or consistent enough to know exactly. Does your wings guide also work biceps and triceps or just back? So when you work back, your biceps are being worked indirectly majority of the time. So yeah, it does work biceps. Like I didn't add specific bicep movements in it, but it definitely, like when you're pulling and rowing, and definitely do indirectly work your biceps, but there's definitely no tricep work in there. Then I got, what are you doing to advance yourself in your career? Obviously balance athletica, but what else? And then I also got one that was, what are your long-term plans? Obviously YouTube will only last so long. Do you want to own your own gym? No, I don't want to own my own gym. I want like my own personal gym, but I don't want a like public gym. But I kind of went over this in my last Q&A as well. I despise this question, and I despise it because the answer is I don't know. And when people ask me, I don't know what to say, and it almost makes me feel stupid for not having a plan past the current, I guess, and like what's currently going on. But for me, I've had so many changes of plans in my life. Like I went to school for biology, so I do have a degree, so if social media goes down tomorrow, I can go get a job. But as of right now, like I'm just doing whatever path my heart leads me down is where I'm going. Whatever like things come to mind, I'm just gonna go for that, and it's really hard to explain. Merch came out of nowhere, my guides came out of nowhere, coach coaching was something I wanted to do, but was always kind of like nervous about. Being athletes for companies, like that was something I always wanted to do, but wasn't sure kind of like how sustainable it was. YouTube was something I wanted to do, and like that doesn't make me a lot of money at all, but it was really hard for me to explain. But I've had so many different changes in my path where I wanted to be a nurse, and then I wanted to do something medical, but I wasn't sure what. And then I applied to pharmacy school, and I got in, and I made my deposit, and then I said, you know what, I don't want to do that anymore. And then I went to Estee Lauder, and I was a chemist, and I really loved it, but then I lost that job. And then I went back to the restaurant, and nothing goes as planned, I feel like. And right now, I'm so beyond blessed to be able to do what I do and love what I do and create my own income and have my own freedom that I'm not going to stress myself out or kind of ruin the beauty of right now worrying about what I'm going to do in the future, because I can always become a waitress and I can always go get a 9-to-5 if I need to. And right now, like, I'm just going all in on what I love, and I just feel like I don't have a plan, and that really scares me. But also, none of this was my plan, and now I'm living a life of my dreams that I created out of thin air. And it's just like the craziest thing to think about. And I just feel like sometimes you don't need a plan, and your heart's gonna lead you in certain directions, and wherever my heart takes me and whatever direction I get pulled in is where I'm gonna go and what I'm gonna pursue. And I'm a very open person, so I have nothing that's really like off limits to me. So maybe an opportunity will come down the road and I'll be like, oh my gosh, yeah, maybe I'll be a cars salesman one day. You never know where your passions are gonna take you or what new passion is gonna come about that might take over. So it's really hard to explain, but I don't wanna ruin the beauty of right now worrying about the future. Although, yeah, I don't have a 401k, yeah, I don't have a retirement plan, but like, we'll figure that out as we go. Hopefully I can save enough that it won't be an issue. So yeah, I don't have a plan. I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm just taking it day by day. So yeah, that's that. Someone asked about new shows coming up, and also, has your thoughts changed on competing? So I answered this like I don't have any shows coming up. I'm thinking late 2019, but I don't have shows in mind. And my opinion on shows has not changed. It's hard to explain because I have goals in mind with competing, but I feel like it's not gonna kill me as much as it would last year if I didn't achieve them, type of thing. And that like sounds so bad because it sounds like I'm not all in on these things, but I am. But I just have so many other things that fulfill me, whereas like last year competing was everything to me, and it was my main priority, and it was all I focused on. And like this year I have so many other things going on, and I'm so grateful to have so many things going on that like competing is just one of them. And I love competing, and I'm going to continue to compete. I think my thoughts have changed only in the way that, to me, last year it was everything, whereas right now it's just a part of my life. Yeah, I think that's kind of it. That's kind of the only way I can like really explain it, but it's hard to put into words. But I love competing. I'm gonna keep competing, but it is not everything. I have so many other things that I love and that are going for me, that are really amazing, that I just like excited about life in general. So competing is not my everything anymore. But I think that's it. I actually answered a majority of the questions. I am going to take a few of the competing questions and make another video, kind of like an advice for competitors, because I got a few of those and just like basic tips and stuff like that. So that will be coming in the future, but I didn't want to drag this on. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I think it's over 30 minutes, so I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Comment down below if you have any other questions, and that's it. I will see you guys in the next one. I love you.
Guess I'm back in high demand, and my car ain't from Japan, but I drive it like I ran from the cops. I'm like, damn, seen you tweaking on the gram. I can never understand how you claim to be a man, cause you're not.